This is the Investor Connect podcast program. I'm Hall T. Martin. I'm the host of this show in which we interview angel investors, venture capital, family offices, private equity, and many other investors for early stage and growth companies. I hope you enjoy this episode.
Hi there, Ashley Mataisi with 10 Capital. I am joined today by the CEO of Flowtex Energy, Beau Flowers. Beau, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us. How are you doing?
Good. So 10 Capital is a funding as a service company. So we help entrepreneurs raise funding with our network of investors. Beau is one of our clients and would love for you to give an introduction on Flowtex for us today.
Thanks. I'm glad to do it. Flowtex Energy, we're a mid-level oil and gas operator. We were founded here in Austin in early 2015, and we work with different groups of private investors, usually high-worth accredited individuals, to drill and develop proven oil fields mainly in Southeast Texas. We focus on low-risk, already proven areas, and a lot of times we go in, our philosophy is to go into areas that have already been heavily developed by big companies like Exxon and Chesapeake, like that. And we go in and kind of get what's left behind. And we've had a great deal of success using that method, especially over the past 18 months. And right now as our footprint has gone in the area, we're looking to kind of grow our business and expand on the success that we've had recently.
Great. And why do your partners invest with Flowtex Energy?
A good question. Well, most of them are for, as what you might expect, is for cash, for income. And the main reason is for income and monthly income and back. These projects, the production on these wells pay our investors out on a monthly basis. And typically that starts about anywhere from 60 to 90 days after the investment is made. So it's a pretty quick turnaround. Once that happens, it's month in, month out cash flow, typically for 7 to 10 years or more. So that's the main reason everybody does it. But also, a very attractive ancillary benefit to our investors are the unique tax benefits in the oil business. The investing in oil and gas has the most tax advantageous aspects of an investment of anything that I've ever seen, because any dime put into an oil and gas project is 100% tax deductible, no matter what. We go out and drill the biggest well in Texas history, and the investors that invested in that well still get to write every dime of it off as a tax deduction. And most of that comes in year one, the year in the investment. So if a fellow like the guys that invested in April and May in my last project, who are already receiving revenue from the well, if they put in $100,000 to that project, when they do their taxes next year, they're going to get $35,000 to $40,000 of that back, no matter what, because most of my investors are all in the top tax bracket. So it's a really nice ancillary benefit that a lot of other investment vehicles don't have.
Great. How has Flowtex been doing lately? Have you been successful recently?
Absolutely. Really glad you asked. This has been our most successful year. We've had a very good track record since our inception, but this year, even with coronavirus slowing our drilling activity down in the spring, we put more projects into production this year than we have any other year. We've already put 4 projects into production. All of those are paying excellent monthly income back to the investors. For instance, the first one we put into production, the guys that put in, I think $70,000 was the investment amount there. Like I said, they had to write that all off, and right now they're receiving between $4,000 and $5,000 a month in monthly revenue. Last one we did, the most successful one we've had this year, the folks that invested in it put I think $110,000 each in it. And April and May, we brought it into production in late August, and we're still processing revenue, so we haven't actually got it. But based on the production that we received in August and September from that well, they're looking at, from a $110,000 investment, they're looking between $16,000 and $20,000 in monthly income, which is that's the best one we've had. And that well is actually about 2.5 times better than what we had hoped. It's just been a really, really pleasant surprise. And And the next project we're doing is right there in the same area.
Fantastic. Are you currently raising capital for a project?
We are right there in the same area. I've got 2 projects that we're going to raise capital and fund for by the end of the year. One of them is a 2-well project in the same field, same area that really successful project I just mentioned is in. And that project is almost fully funded. It's a 2-well project. We were bringing on that had 20 open positions. We've only got 2 left in that one. And we expect to have it funded by the end of next week for sure. But right after that, I'm going to start funding our next one, which is one very similar, right there in the same area. It'll be a 10 position, a 10 unit opening. And we'll start funding that probably in the next 2 weeks. That'll be 10 new fellows we'll be looking to bring on group folks that by the end of the year is what we're looking for.
Okay. So tell us about who typically is an investor in Flowtex Energy.
We only work with accredited investors. There are risks in our business. We try to mitigate those risks as much as we can. But investing in oil and gas does have a higher degree of risk than most things. So it's only for a certain category of investor. And then we won't work with anybody that isn't accredited. Folks that are making a couple $100,000 a year and have $1 million portfolio are the folks that we typically work with.
Okay. And so for our listeners who are interested in learning more about your current offering of future projects, what would they need to do to receive more information?
Well, that's a good question. The first step is we have a digital guide on investing in oil and gas. Below this video, there's a link. And what I would suggest doing first is sign up to receive that. It's free of charge. Although in our office, we'll send it out. It'll show you the ins and outs of investing in oil. It'll talk about how the different ways you can invest, from investing in stocks, the private placements, directly in the well like we do. Talk about the risk, the rewards, the tax benefits, and just give you a real good idea of the space in general. And like I said, click on the link below here, fill out your information, and although we'll get that sent over, that'll be the first step. And after you go through that, if you're interested any further, if anybody's interested any further, we'll take it from there.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for the explanation here. I think that really clarified things on how to invest in gas and invest in Flowtex Energy. So thank you so much for your time, Beau.
Hey, thanks again for having us.
Investor Connect helps investors interested in startup funding. In this podcast series, experienced investors share their experience and advice. You can learn more at investorconnect.org. Halty Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall in podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for the basis of investment decisions.